Okie doke. One of the later things in the controller support shit, I still need to make an audio menu, and I still need to debug graphics and do some other shit. But to make button clicking not look stupid, this looks good now. So you get feedback on the shit you click. Granted, the thing you click doesn't stay selected, but whatever. It doesn't matter right now. One, it doesn't matter very much, and two, it doesn't matter very much right now, because most of the buttons, you click them and you go somewhere else. But some of them, you might want to stay selected. It's not a big deal. Who gives a shit? It's good looking UI. It looks pretty good. One of the issues, though, was that I needed clicking to also look good and not shit at the same time. One of the issues was that, talked in a couple past videos, whenever I use this event on remove from focus path when I navigate from one widget to another, and that executes on the widget you leave when you leave it with a gamepad, when you remove it from focus. Problem is that also executes, and that's good. So when I leave it, when I'm on one widget and I press a button down, it will stop hovering on that and it'll call my unhover animate. The problem though is, and that happens instantly whenever I move away. And it doesn't happen again when I select another. So on gamepad, that calls on this widget when I leave it. On mouse, however, it will also call when I click another widget. So on the controller, when I leave, it happens right away. I'm on one widget, and the second I leave, it goes from being hovered to unhovered. Awesome. But if I'm on a widget on mouse, and I click it or whatever, and then I go and I click another one, only then, when I click something else, does the unhover happen. And that means that a button that I'm not clicking right now is animating. Why? That doesn't make any sense. If I click here, if I click this button and then I click this one should unhighlight, but it shouldn't do any extra visuals. The only thing that's happening is it's excuse me, it is undoing. But whenever I would, like, if I, whatever, I'm not gonna do it, but basically I just changed the animation to the animations are really basic now. So I have two separate ones. I have one animation that is literally just the default state of the button. Same thing. So animated, nothing. Same thing as default. That's the default state. So I can play this animation to reset the button back to 0. I could fuck around with the style and the border and shit. It's just easier to animate the shit and play the animation. Easy peasy. The other thing is, there's hover. So when you hover over it and you stay over it, it stays like this. We've played the animation one time and it stays. And now whenever I leave it, instead of it playing an animation where it starts, hovered, and goes like, oh, actually, what it used to be was it was playing this in reverse. So if I'm on one button and I leave it, and it immediately goes from hovered to unhovered, okay, cool. But if I have clicked this button and done stuff and left and unhovered it now, and I've gone and I've clicked another button, that will trigger the unhover again for the mouse. And it will go like this. But I'm not clicking that button. I click here, and this button up here goes like that, which is stupid. That doesn't make sense. So instead of playing the animation in reverse in unhover, all I do is play a different animation. Boop. I just set it to be this guy. So it goes from being hovered to this. So when I unhover, the button up here, not this one, I'm pretending there's another button here. This button is like this. And when I click this button, it still calls the on removed from focus path event. It still calls this guy. But because the unhovered is playing the unselected animation now, which is nothing, basically. If something's already in its default state, and then I play this animation, you'll never know the difference. So if I click this button, and it goes to be hovered, and then I end up leaving it, and it goes from hovered to unselected, and then I click another button, and it plays the unhovered animation again, it's not playing this in reverse and animating, it's just playing this, which is no visual change. It looks the same, it doesn't change anything. So that's why when I click one button now, click, 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 it just played another animation here. It played right there. If I click here and then I click there, this button was removed from the focus path and it called to play this animation. But because this animation doesn't do anything, or doesn't show you it doesn't visually change anything unless you're in another animation state, it doesn't matter and it's clean. So the UI looks pretty good now. So if we go full screen real quick. Q. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Looks good. Hovering, hovering. Click, 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 click. Reset. Boop. Easy peasy. Only thing now is I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I need to add the audio menu first because that takes priority. Because right now, in order for me to have this work, the controller shit, excuse me, for the UI, whenever I create a widget or I display it, I need to set focus. And the problem is that hovers the button. So if I'm on mouse, pretend I don't have a controller, and I start the game, create game is hovered, like I'm hovering over it. It'll unhover if I hover over it and leave, but if I go to the next game, every time I go somewhere else, now this button is hovered. So if I go here, it gets hovered by default, and this is hovered again. And if I go, like, whatever, basically if I go here, continue is always hovered. If I go to settings, graphics is hovered. If I go to controls and I go back, graphics is hovered again, even though I might not necessarily want graphics to be hovered. So, kinda, I mean, it's not bad, but it might be kind of annoying if you're only on mouse. So I'm thinking about trying to see if there's a way I can only enable that if a controller is plugged in or something, but I can't tell. Like I could, I don't know, whenever a widget is made or opened or something, I can like get the input devices maybe, but I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a way around that, but next is audio. So that's basically it. I had a game button. I used animations that just set this, like the animation, that's the animation. That's nothing. If I played it over and over again, it would look like this. Nothing is playing for these buttons, but they'd be animating. So animation, it is finished and it stays in its current state. It plays again. And then it plays again, but there's no visual change. It's just hidden, basically. So that's it. Pretty satisfying UI. It's pretty good. So next thing I have to do, I'm not going to fuck around too much about stuff. I'm going to just do the things that actually matter. So next step will be an audio menu. This guy. So that's it. All right, bye. Maybe. Bye.